Alrighty. Hello, hello. I think we're live. Hello, everybody. My name is Sheshire, the Devil's Not So Funny Jester, currently talking you through the body of my cat Grim. And today, we're back with some more drawing. It's Military Monday time, so just give me a second. I hope that everyone's doing well. Let me just send out the tweet, and then we'll connect my little iPad there so y'all can see. You know, it might be a little bit of a shorter stream today, right? Unfortunately, I had some stuff come up, just working on other things here and there. You know, I might be back tomorrow. If I am, I'm going to be for early in the morning. I know this time is also kind of random, but, you know, we're experimenting. Let me just make sure, yeah, red sites go, purple sites go. Okay, good. You know, I'm really actually starting to like the setup. Everything is working properly. So much better. Mr. McMillo, hello. How are you doing? How are you doing today? Just sending out a tweet right now that I'm live, and then we'll connect to the iPad so we can see. Back doing some more military drawings today. But this one is going to be more so like a proper drawing, not little sketches. I know last week we did Smuggle On and it was more like doodles. So today we're trying something a little bit different. I did some experimentation with posing, so it'll be a little interesting. Just secretly trying to put it from the house from the back on me. Oh, I see. Sounds mysterious. I'm intrigued now. Okay, let me just send this out. Post underneath, and then I'll connect my iPad. That's being a little bit difficult, but it should be working okay. I was going to stream a little bit sooner, and then I got set up in like a separate room and that sort of thing, so that we wouldn't be disturbed by anybody, and then unfortunately I forgot like 3 different cables I needed to go live. So I had to go back and get everything else, and it was a huge pain, but oh well. Slash NB. There we go. Okay. Oh boy. Apparently he was into you and didn't realize it's somebody, and now he no longer wants to speak to you, blocked you ever, kicked you out of a Discord group, so you made another account trying to give him support because I know he's having hard. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but I mean, if it makes it any better, like, I don't think you should feel bad about it, because if they didn't say it directly to you, then there's really, like, no way you could have known, right? Like, they have to communicate that, but I know it can be rough, unfortunately, when someone doesn't feel like it's reciprocated, but, you know, hopefully you both get through that. Okay, let's set this up now. 759, 738, 791. It's okay, I'm not saying any important numbers, it's just so I can connect my iPad's screen to this thing. Broadcast, there we go. 3, 2, 1. And we're live, okay. You gonna do your job? Yep. Come on, let's go. Okay, so finish that. There we go. But I mean, otherwise, hopefully I can distract you a little bit and keep your mind off of it. Hopefully everyone's doing well at least. Monday, beginning of the week, unfortunately. What can you do? Okay, so it's a rough looking sketch right now, right? But I wanted to draw Squchan, at least for Military Monday. I have like a list of people that I've written down, like a bunch of streamers I watch, and we're just kind of going down the list, but I had saw her the other day, and I saw like old art I had done, or like a sketchbook of mine. And I was like, I feel like I need to do better, because it's old, and you get like that thing where you look at old art or something you made years ago, and it's like, eh. So I'm making something new to offer to the Space Cat. Just need to figure out the hair and all that sort of jazz. I think, I mean, like the pose and everything else, and yeah, there's like a hand here, but I haven't figured that out yet. I might just erase this bit. It doesn't make sense, but it'll make sense in a minute. I have like fingers here, right? Like a second finger there. I have one like here, and then like a thumb up there. Right, something like that. And I've been deciding, I don't know if I was gonna give her a gun, like I did with Smugglana, but I feel like there's a limit to how much you can just kind of slap a gun and make that military, so I think I'm gonna give her, Skew will give a military outfit, and the hat, like she's holding a hat here, so you can see the military sort of one, and then we'll do like a military suit, that sort of a thing. But I feel like I just want to do like magic or something creepy, like the void, that sort of thing, to get really into like the space cat aesthetic. So if anybody's seen the clips of Rao where they were playing Wizard War and there was like that doom spell, like a little black void with a hole in it, I feel like that is what I want to draw her holding. And like you have that little kind of bead there. Just erase this a little bit. Tiny black dot. And then we'll erase it. I don't know if I want to do... You know, we'll figure out what it looks like later. That's fine. Just keep it like that for now. Now we will continue. I don't know if I should make the pose, you know, bigger like this. Have the hands like that. And the two fingers like they're cupping or grabbing something. I looked up earlier, it was like references for casting spells and that sort of thing, and absolutely nothing had any kind of up-close shot, or even with like the hand facing upwards. You'd be surprised. Like it was all literally the same thing of their hands stretched out directly towards the camera. I feel like at this point I've debated buying like a pose reference bundle, because there are people like on Twitter, the Pose Archive, that do follow them, that they put out posts, and I feel like they've definitely had a pose like this at some point. So I've been considering just buying like a huge bundle and scrolling through and seeing if any of those poses are ones that I can use. Because otherwise I look at like 17 different photos on the internet and I just kind of smash them all together. I don't ever trace them, right? I just look at them and try and recreate the poses and that sort of a thing, combining different parts of each of them, but I don't believe in tracing them. That would be wrong. Do I? No, that finger for no reason. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Let's erase part of that. And then the thumb would be like here. Something like that. And we'll erase this tiny bit. You know, we can figure out the hand later. Just redo the index finger. I feel like it's covering too much of the thumb. It's okay. Just a very rough sketch. And by very, I mean extremely. But that's okay. Just a little rough. Now what do I do next? The hand holding them? Yeah, maybe we fix the face and the hair a little bit. Okay, so we got this hat part, right? The, like military cap sort of a thing. Polish it. I mean, erase this bit for the most part. Like a little line there, and I can add just a tiny bit of gray so that I know that this is going to be shaded. And then we had ears. I don't know. Actually, no, it might help if I pull up a reference. I have an old photo of Squchan. Like, I know her outfit changed a little bit, because she redid her model recently, but I mean, otherwise the type of hairstyle and that sort of thing should be relatively consistent. There we go. Okay. Right, like the bangs on the side, that sort of a thing, bangs in front, and then relatively short-ish hair. But I feel like we got that. There we go, so that's one part. Okay, that little strand there, I'm trying not to overdo it, because if I keep trying to fix the same thing over and over or change it, it's just going to end up looking bad, so can't spend too long on every single spot. Okay, now then, for here, what am I doing with like the bangs and that sort of a thing? Because there are some, it'd be like right here, underneath the hat. And then you would have some more, I don't know if I like flip all of them like that. I think maybe that's what we're going to do. We're going to just like erase it and have some hair sticking out, tendrils like this. Right? And then we will erase over here. I don't know if necessarily that's giving a hair effect, we'll just have to see. Maybe isn't high enough? Let's try that again. We'll make it a little bit further up. I feel like I might just be making the bangs too far down. That's the eyebrow. Something like that. And then once we move on from the eyebrow, we'll go back to this hair thing. So you have like the bits of the hair sticking out here, the tiny like strands where it has the like baby hairs on the scalp. Something like this. I'd imagine, at least. Urlock, pleasure to make your acquaintance. Hope you're doing well. On YouTube there. Military Monday, just doing some sketching there for Squchan, if you haven't heard of her. But yeah, welcome in. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. Okay, now, back to the hair. I have the scalp like this. I'll draw, the hair would be like this, I think. Sticking up, like that. Maybe. Or, I need to draw it arced. Because I don't think I arced it enough. Maybe something like that. And then I arc it with the hat. Maybe that's what I should do. Okay. I see. Said the blind man to his deaf wife. Now that we have that going. We'll erase this bit and have for the hat it's something like that, right? Yeah. And we'll erase this and these like funky strands that are just in the way now. It's always fine when you do the sketch and then immediately later. Thank you so much, Orlok. Appreciate the compliment. No. You know, if I had bangs, they'd be something like this. I say if I had bangs, I do not. No, nothing even remotely close to this, but I'm imagining if like the wind or she's falling sort of, they're gonna pick it up like this, right? Then the hat would be something like right there. I'm just gonna draw a really thin line so that we can see. And I want to try and keep this all on one layer. So you know what, maybe, yeah, maybe this is pushing it too much to the side, so I think we'll keep it maybe down like this, and then I'll arc it up from here. That way it'll look like the rest of the bangs. They're all following the same shape, like that, right? Also, sorry, I don't know why I spin the canvas. It's going to make you throw up, but I need to work on that. Alright, like there we go. We'll have some hair flying up like this, I think. Does that work? I think that works. And then we'll have like a little strand here. They need to be like, you know, cousins, not sisters. Doesn't have to be exactly identical to Skew here, but as long as you can tell it's her, I did my job. Also, this is a really random thing, but I just remembered. I recently found out what the little N button does on Procreate. If you're someone who isn't stupid like me, you may be thinking, God, Sheshire, how did it take you this long? However, I'm spiritually 87. I say this all the time. Might as well be a couple 100 years old because I do not understand technology. I didn't know, like, all the different multiply layers that you can do, right? Like, that's one of the settings here. Where's multiply? So when you saw the art tutorials, or at least when I saw the art tutorials all the time, and it was like, on a multiply layer do this, or blah blah blah, or add luminosity and change the opacity to like 50%. I used to just be like, oh, well, I use Procreate, so I can't do it. That's unfortunate. Right? Too bad. I'm not going to learn how to do Clip Studio Paint or whatever the other ones were. I was just like, oh, well, that's too bad. I guess I can't use these art tutorials. So this whole time, I could have been doing that. Right? Like, I don't know what it does. I don't know what the different layers do in the luminosity. I'd have to look into it. But at least now, I have the option to, right? But I feel like there wasn't a tutorial. There wasn't anything that was like, here's the different things that you can do. Here's what this button does. And I didn't even know what that meant. I didn't know what the N or the O meant. I didn't know you could tap on it because it wasn't like a toggle. You can click on this next to it, but it wasn't like there was a settings button. Ugh. Okay, let me set it to normal. Right. I don't know what any of the other ones mean, but I will set this to normal now. Take your time, don't you worry. I was gonna say, you're not missing anything anyways, even if you'd have to step out. I'm just currently rambling about Procreate. I'm a fool. Like, that was the other thing, actually. I think doing clipping masks, that was a recent thing I learned about too, which is unfortunate. Like, sometimes I just feel incredibly dumb. And I feel like this could have been avoided if I just, like, spoke to a friend of mine, because I know somebody, she's in art school, right? They do all this crap. But I'm also the type where sometimes I'd rather die than ask for help, so it was kind of just doomed from the beginning. Now then, do I have a strand like this, and then maybe I arc it like that, right? Or do I cover like the full forehead? No, I am not going to cover the whole forehead. Like at most to there, but I feel like even then, that's a little much. You know what, let me open, you know what, I'm going to apply what I've learned. I'm going to open a second layer. Let me turn on Animation Assist. And we're going to try and figure out what I'm doing with this hair. Okay. So we're retracing this. Right. Does that work? Arc it like this, I see, right? So we're kind of back to where I started. Maybe I stretch it a little bit more. Okay. Welcome back. We're just trying to figure out what the hell we're doing with the hair here, so I open up a second layer. I feel like with the second one, or we could do the approach of it literally just arcing up into the sky because it's not being blocked by the hat. But I don't necessarily know how to do that. Arc it like this, right? And we'll just work in big blocks right now. I feel like I'm starting too precise and it's not helping. We're working big blocks like that. Scoop the hair up like this. And then we'll start to erase it into shapes. That's one of them here, right? This is another little small one, just at the edge. Right? And we'll have, so the one that we had here, we'll add back to it. So this way it is kind of like the hair sticking up in front of the coat, or the hat rather. I don't know why I said coat, I feel like I'm having a stroke. I feel like I'm having a stroke every day. My brain's just mush. And then we'll flatten out that hair part here, just because why not? And I'll add maybe one last, kind of just like a little small strand. It's like stretched out on top of the hat. Or, yeah, curl it like that. There we go, and then this way, the whole forehead kind of makes sense. It's all being blown up by the wind or the current position she's in. So if I go back down here, right, I will erase the current bangs we're working with. I feel like that's not working. No, wrong layer. Go back here. There we go. Sorry, Miss Squchan, I'm gonna have to erase your eyebrows. There we go. I'll just kind of retrace roughly where that eye was. Then we'll get the other eyebrow here. So then, if I merge the layers down, like that hair should make sense. You're actually the first person I've seen drawing without yelling at the viewer? I mean, I haven't seen too many different drawing streams from what I can tell. I mean, a lot of people do try and make them more energetic, just from like a practical standpoint, because you can't really do a lot when you are drawing, but I mean, I'm not necessarily a hyper person, so it would be like very, very fake of me to do so, and I'm not the type to lie. But I'm also open where I write down in all my descriptions, like feel free to ask anything you want. I'm open to talking about absolutely anything during a drawing stream. Like I want to feel natural. So I'm not gonna like yell and shout and that sort of thing. I think in the last one there was one viewer that was being goofy in chat, so like I'll be goofy back and that sort of a thing, but I'll never be yelling. Like I think the one maybe one of the few people I've ever only seen an art stream from. Juniper Octios. I think that's maybe not so much the yelling end, but probably on the more energetic, goofy side, but... Sorry, I'm rambling. I don't necessarily know if that was a compliment or a critique or just an observation, but yeah, no, I don't really... I'm not one to yell, usually. But I am open to pretty much like anything. Asking questions, discussions, talking about whatever people are interested in, but... And also for those who are not aware, I do have multiple streams going at once. It's just on the same platform, so I am on both Twitch and YouTube right now, so, you know, if it's different people, I'm not going crazy or talking to the voices in my head. I haven't gotten up on stream. I might switch the chat or find a way to pop it on there just so we can see the multi-stream. But at least for now, the chat is just for my eyes only. And also I have been looking into other websites. Like I debated starting on Kick. I don't necessarily know for sure. And TikTok was a pain. I'm thinking probably tonight and maybe tomorrow I'll run just some streams on TikTok where it's absolutely nothing playing. It's literally just completely blank because to stream on TikTok you have to face cam at least twice before you can use OBS, right? Which means I can't be a VTuber. But other than that, I don't really know of any other sites. Oh, X too, or Twitter. I call it Twitter still. I know I'm old. And you can stream on there. I haven't looked into it. I don't know if that's something y'all will be interested in, but let me know. Now, do I merge this down? Okay, erase that last bit. Maybe yeah, I feel like everything's gone now. Okay, flatten. Okay, I might just curve this a little bit. I have a warp tool, but I want to avoid using warp tools as much. I prefer just to erase it and redraw it 50 million times, which I know is more difficult, but I like to do things the hard way, unfortunately. Okay, we've got that going. Well, that's just like a little curve at the end there. Maybe we'll add like a, a tiny bit of hair, like that last bit. Okay, so we'll move on to the hat, just so that makes sense, because I feel like right now the hair is kind of making everything a little bit confusing. You're making a new profile pic while listening? Well, that's nice. There you got two different drawings going on. See, I feel like I don't know if I can do this like the same thing as what I'm listening to. I feel like if I'm listening to a live, it'll be like a game or somebody reacting to something if I'm drawing. Just for me personally, because I feel like let's say you're playing a game, right, and you listen to somebody play the same game. I know there's people who do that, but to me I get like confused or overwhelmed, or like there's two different things but they're similar, so my brain confuses the two. Actually, I had drawn a profile picture recently. Let's tap over to that quickly. I'm probably going to redraw it, right? Like it was an old sketch that I just kind of colored recently and slapped on because I was sick of having just like the old drawing from a couple months ago as my profile picture. I might redraw it again. Where is it? This goofy thing. Like I had drawn this recently for my profile picture. For some reason it hasn't updated on Twitch. I've tried like 17 different times to change it. On YouTube and Twitter, on that sort of thing, it has updated, but for some reason Twitch just decides it hates me. I feel like those are always fun, doing profile pictures, like the thing that other people are going to see that's supposed to like represent you. And there's like very different types of profile pictures. There's some people who have like the goofy looking ones, really serious ones. There's some where it's just like a generic random photo. And I've seen a couple YouTubers where it's them as a baby, and I don't know how I feel about that. Because I feel like I would want to keep those pictures personal if it was just me. But to each their own, I guess. Now let's even out the hand that's going to be holding the hat. Kind of smooth out the lines here. And every time I hum, it's just some random song from God knows how many years ago. Like, I haven't listened to the radio in ages, and I feel like I don't know any new music. I was talking to like a relative of mine the other day, and some song was playing. And they're like, oh my god, I'm going to like this person's concert and blah 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 in XYZ number of months. And I was like, who? And they turned and looked at me and they're like, I forget the name. I don't know if it was like Bad Bunny or some crap, or I thought they were one of like the big performers. I heard they did some sort of like sports performance recently or something. And I had a family member turn to me and like, how do you not know who they are? And I went, I've never heard that name in my life. The songs, it's always like random YouTubers or like videos from 5-10 years ago that no one's ever heard of. I think the like most recent popular thing that I can think of that I actually know the music to is either K-pop Demon Hunters or Epic. I mean, like it's a movie and a musical. It's not like artists on the radio, because those I do not know to save my life. You know, that finger's too bent. It wouldn't make sense like that. Let me draw the index again. If I had middle finger, index, okay, something like this. You watched it, but some kids are just overdoing it. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it was nice in the moment, you listen to music, all that sort of a thing. But it was like everywhere now. I saw a YouTube Kids video the other day that popped up, and it was like the most depraved, like meme crap on the planet. They just slap the characters on top of it, because I feel like that's what happens when the movies get popular. They just slap them everywhere, all the content farms and that sort of thing. They're in video games now too. Like, weren't they in Fortnite? I think that's what it was. Like, yeah, like, absolutely every face on the planet, you can't get away from it now. Yeah, that makes sense. You have, like, the index finger behind it. And then the thumb would be what, like here? I'm trying to imagine. Like, I don't wear hats. I'm trying to figure this out. Okay. Thumb like this. Might have to restructure the hand. Thumb like that. Just gonna do a quick reshaping of the hand here. There we go. And the thing about K-pop Demon Hunters is, at least I enjoyed probably one or two of the songs. The rest, I'm not a big K-pop person. I know absolutely nothing about it. I'm not like a big rap, hip-hop person either. So I think Golden I enjoyed, and what was the other one? Breathe? No. Free. That's what it was. Golden and Free. Right. Those two I liked. Can't sing either of them. I do not know how to sing to save my life. I'm basically tone deaf, I like to say. So like you're not even gonna hear me attempt those two on here. And then you see like the covers all over the place. I think everybody and their mother was covering them at the time. You know what, we're going to do the same method again. We're just going to sketch right on top of it. So if I have middle finger like that, index, like a thumb like this, and then I'd have ring finger, pinky. If that makes sense. Okay, let's erase this bit. We'll narrow the line art down. Or I guess turn the sketch into line art. Smooth it down. I'll figure out about the elbow and the rest of the arm later. Wishing to figure out what the hell I'm doing with this hand. Yeah, I feel like no. What I'm going to do is going to take this. We're going to warp it. Because I'm not pushing the arm high enough. It would be like this if you're grabbing the hat. I feel like that would make more sense. It looks god-awful right now, but just trust the process. From the angle I had it at, it was basically impossible to grab the hat, right? So if we do it like this instead, finger up here, second finger, and then thumb like this, I think it makes much more sense. When you're drawing, use more than 3 layers, just your opinion. See, the funny thing is it depends on the drawing, because there's some where I use 1, like literally just 1 layer, and there's some where I use like 30, and there's no in between. I haven't really figured out what I'm doing. In all honesty, it kind of just depends on the day. Like I'll swap to different layers, and then I usually just flatten them down once I'm happy with it, and then I usually do like maybe 1 for the sketch / liner and 1 for the color. Because there are some, like this one here, where's Monarch? That one there is 1 layer, right? I just kind of went going because it's not necessarily line art and regular shading too. I just went and it was like a 1 type of brush, and I just went and hatched it, like the whole thing in the same brush. I didn't bother doing line art or anything else like that. I just kind of, it's almost like painted. And then I have other ones where it's like, actually this one, the Valentine's Day one. No, not that one. You know, I can do a Smugglana. Like this one here, where I have like God knows how many different layers for absolutely no reason. Right? But it really just depends on the day. And today is a not many line art day. I mean, not many layer day. Okay. I'm looking at my hand again. I'm trying not to break my wrist doing this little... Like positioning my neck, trying to get that same pose we got like that. Leaning down. Okay, it would be like a hand up type of thing, and then leaning down. That makes more sense. Okay, focus, Sheshire. Do your job. Like that, okay. And then, let me erase it, because they're currently god awful, like fat fingers. Turn them into proportionately normal fingers. And then we would have the second, well, I guess like the ring finger there. And then the thumb would be somewhere underneath like that. And then pinky is somewhere bent here. It'll be rough for a moment, and then we'll even out the hand. It just takes some time. Interesting. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is going to kind of finish drawing this out like that, and I'll just warp it to the hat afterwards. So I have a 1 and a 2 fingers in front of it. There we go. And then the last one will be like this. You know, this is really, really messy. We don't come here for clean sketches, we come here for me rambling and extremely messy sketches. Erase that, because that'll be over top the hat. Erase this part. Right, I think. Cheshire. And undo the fat fingers. Because whenever I sketch, I make everything extremely heavy-handed. Extremely, well, not intended, extremely line-heavy. Okay, now I can draw the hand going. Or at least, you know, like this somewhat. And I might shrink the hand because it's a little big. Uniform, stretch it a little bit smaller. Just because I don't make it too disproportionately large compared to her head. I try to do that same thing as when you put your hand out in front of your face, and usually your whole widespread hand is roughly the same size as your face. So I try to imagine that when I'm drawing people. Okay, we have the second finger behind it. I can get rid of that. Make this straight here. Flatten that out. And then we're gonna arc it maybe from a little bit higher. The fingers are higher, and we'll just arc them more like this. Like it starts off up top. If that doesn't work, we'll move on to something else, but I think it's kind of slowly but surely figuring itself out. Right. Then we go like that. I'll make the thumb bigger. And then we'll smooth out the thumb. That becomes a question of what am I going to do with the arm, because that is being funky. Because that's way too long. Or is it? Or maybe I have it arced like this, like way off to the side. I feel like at this point it was better to just exaggerate the angle, because the rest of the piece is extremely like, distorted physically. Yeah, we stretch the angle like that, maybe. Erase that bit. I don't know if the arm is too big, but that's okay. Okay, like that, like so. A little dip in the arm. Or you can see the upper or the forearm versus the upper arm. Okay. Now I'll finish that. I think I just had to take a mental break there to figure out what was not working. Now we can erase the rest of this and just make the lines cleaner. I feel like I need to get one of those posing mannequins. I literally have one. I have one that was gifted to me, like years ago. Never use it. And it doesn't have like the hands, it has the physical body part, and the hand is just like one big lump, but they do have ones where you can model hands. And I feel like I should get one, but I know I'll never use one, even if I do buy one, because I can just use my hands, but it would probably make life a hell of a lot easier. I don't know about y'all, but whenever I think about buying something, I go, like, do I need it? And 99.9% of the time I go, no, I don't need it, and I immediately just decide not to get it anymore. And we'll put the index finger on top of it. Yeah, the index will be on top because the top layer is showing, and then the thumb will be hidden by the top of the hat. The index will be behind it. There we go. That way everybody's happy. Erase this bit. Make the thumb way thinner. Does that make more sense now? God, the fingers are always so huge. They're ginormous for no reason. Okay. Zoom out just to make sure that this makes sense with the whole drawing. I feel like it does. The arm may need some work, right? Just to kind of reorientate the position and that sort of a thing, but the hand is better than where we were originally. So let me go back to this bit. We're going to erase this hand here. Right? And then we can just merge down the layers for the other one. Erase that. Sorry, index finger, you're going to go now. You can go here. And I'm going to erase that bit in the thumb, because that's going to be covered by the hat. And, oh right, this bottom part of the arm also needs to go. Sorry, you're being amputated, Squchan. This isn't my fault. No, I don't have a license to practice. Down here. Merge. Ta-da! Okay. I get, you know, do help thing. And I'll just grab a warp tool. I'm gonna collect this. I'm gonna warp the arm just so it keeps rough human-y shape, I say as I make it distorted and twisted beyond recognition. That's okay. Arc it like this. If you haven't figured it out yet, I'm extremely indecisive. At least with art. We're going to arc it like this here. And then kind of figure out, I'll redraw it after, but we're going to figure out the way the hand is molded, or the arm. Like so. Okay, straighten this out. And that little sort of knuckly bone portion of the wrist. Erase the second part. I think we'll leave the rest of it alone, right? Just shape that arm. I think the rest of it makes sense. Maybe? Question mark? I don't know. You guys might have to tell me if it makes sense or not. Chat, does it make sense? maybe. I feel like I've been working on the arm this entire time and now I have no idea. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna take an executive decision and say yes. Did not mean to erase that. Executive decision, yeah, it's fine, we're moving on. Then we're gonna erase this. I know I had planned, because that's where the code is gonna pop up, probably. Like a little elbow poking up there. Or a little shoulder, not elbow. I don't know why I said elbow. Shoulder there. That makes sense. You know, this makes more sense now. I'm done. Done with the arm. And then that way, the elbow isn't magically going to be warped and not make sense. Okay. Now then, we're going to figure out the rest of the hair and hat. Erase that bit. I had an ear here, so we'll do that. Like her cat ear. It's behind the hat. Something like this. Shape that, and then that would be, yeah, that one is mostly covered because it's looking away. So we'll have like this, it's just the side of the ear. Add a little bit of fluff to the end, why not? Just a tiny bit of floofage. Just a little tiny floofage. Erase that. Okay. Now then we'll shade the rest of this in. That's the second back half of the ear. You're not going to see as much of it just because it'll be facing away from the head. And then we can add some fur, right? Some floofage, just some tiny bits of fur. And just smudge it. It's fine, we'll have one ear there. And then this further half of the ear would be kind of behind cover, or some darkness there because the hat is blocking the light. Let's just add some gray so I know to shade that later. And then now here, the other ear we'd be facing probably straight up and out. Like that. Right? Yeah, that makes sense. Well, just like a little circle a bit there. Maybe some waviness so it looks like it's being blown in the wind. Or she's falling. You know what? I haven't figured out. I don't think she's flying. Maybe a little bit of falling. You know, it's canon now. She's falling from the sky. That's what this drawing is. To the ear, some more fluff. This time you're going to see pretty much entirely the inner ear. There's not so much of any of the outside going to be shown, just because it's essentially completely facing the camera. Okay, so we'll erase that. Da, 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 da. You know, maybe a little bit, like I have that tiny little flap here. I have that little sliver of her ear on the left. And we'll add some fur, some little spikes and stuff there. And then we'll add the other side of the ear here, the last of it, just flowing like that. One of your art pieces got stolen by a fake art. Oh, god damn it. I'd say kill him, but you know, in Minecraft. Allegedly. Wink. I can't wink with this model. I mean, I would say take it as a compliment. If you're good enough to steal from means you have to be some manner of skilled at art, but they're still a piece of crap. Sorry to hear that though. If it was recent, hopefully they didn't get away with it, or at least they were found out pretty quickly. That would suck. Hasn't happened to me yet, fortunately. I take it to mean that I need to improve. Once I get to the point where my art's good enough, then somebody will try it. I'll take it as a compliment then. Okay. Ears blowing in the wind. Maybe I'll add just a tiny bit of shadow so I remember where it's facing, and then we'll move on to the rest of it. Etsy thanks so much for the follow. Hopefully you're doing well. Welcome on in. Just drawing some Squchan today, Military Monday, where we draw people in military outfits. Hope you're having a good day. Okay, back on YouTube. So I popped up in their comment and they deleted their channel because they were scared. You know what? At least they didn't get away with stealing your art, right? Like, it'd be one thing if he never got away with it, but at least you called him out on it and he deleted his channel. Like, that's a good thing. Hello, your art's really cute. Thank you so much. Thank you for the follow. Glad to be here. The name's Sheshire, the devil's not so funny jester, currently talking to the body of my cat, Grim. And for those on YouTube or Twitch, depending on where you are, I do have multi-chat on. It's not on screen so you can't see, but I am talking to 2 different streams right now, which is why. I'm not schizophrenic or crazy, I assure you. They're not voices in my head, I just have 2 different chats going. I'll try and get it on stream later. Next, maybe tomorrow or... what's tomorrow? Tuesday? So maybe Tuesday or Wednesday I'll try and get the chat view on stream so we can actually see it. But yeah, hopefully everyone's doing well, or maybe getting better. Thank you so much. Yeah, Grim is a preset on VTube Studio. I do have little designs. You know what, actually? We'll do a little show and tell while everybody's here. So some of you who have been around a little bit longer might have seen, but... So this is kind of like the official design of Sheshire. This is what I look like, right? The base outfit. And then I normally have like this purpley looking cloak thing on. Okay. Grim. Well, this model, I am working on one in VTube Studio currently that I can use for Grim. This is what Grim would look like, roughly, right? Fluffy little Maine Coon kitty there. I'm stuck in the 8th layer hell, which is pretty freezing, and I found Grim. So he's a big fluffy cat, right? They're cute. Maine Coons, if you don't know what they are, look them up. They're amazing. They're like the size of a dog, but big and fluffy like a cat. One day we'll get there. You're doing well, but it's pretty late at night. You have some weird sleep patterns. See, for the longest time, I had like the most normal sleep schedule in the world, right? I went to bed at like 10, 11, whatever. Woke up at like 6. Worked on stuff during the day, went to sleep. And then I find recently I had a bunch of deadlines or other stuff that I had to work on. Just work, that sort of thing. And so, I pulled like an all-nighter recently. And it just absolutely knocked me the way out. And now I just feel exhausted, so I think I need to catch up on sleep and figure it out because I don't think I'm a night person. I can, but it knocks me out. On YouTube, also, by the way, you can call me Jing. Okay, I'll make a mental note, right? My memory's not the best. I'd say I have a pretty decent memory. Names, sometimes I struggle with, but I'll remember that. And if I ever mispronounce your usernames, do let me know. I know mine isn't the most straightforward. I have the NB, which is just Sheshire Notabene, which is my full name essentially, but the initials are confusing, so I do understand. Okay, what was I doing? The ear, right. Focus, Sheshire. Focus on the ear. Put that little fluff to the side, that's the actual ear, not the fluff. And then she has 2 earrings there. I don't know if I want to keep them or not. Those 2 little nicks on the side. You know what? Let's do it, why not? And we'll erase those. I'll draw them better later, but that's just so I remember. There we are. Second one like that. There we go, and I'll erase this tiny bit. What character? I don't think you've seen it before. So this is a streamer, a VTuber, like myself. Her name is Squchan. She does, I think, well, she did art back in the day. She has like a Patreon where she draws some, I'd say, more sussy art, but she does reaction content too. She's on Twitch and on YouTube and does lots of react streams and cooking and hand cams and that sort of thing. Look her up. She's a Hungarian VTuber, a space cat. And I think she recently made her new model for herself, so yeah. I have just like a list of streamers I draw. Usually I draw a lot of original characters, right? On stream, I've mostly just done streamers. I don't watch all that many TV shows, so I wouldn't necessarily have all that many to pull from. I find I'm not really caught up, so when people talk about like film and TV, I never know who they're talking about, so usually I just draw streamers that I watch. But I have a big deadline coming up soon, so I can't this month. But starting next month, I actually have a like long format YouTube video we'll be posting, and that has a lot of work going into it, a lot of different drawings. So those will actually be a little bit different, and we'll start working on those too, and that'll be all sorts of different original characters, some redesigns, that sort of thing. And then YouTube will have, well, YouTube and Twitch live streams will be a little bit different. But for now, it's mostly just VTuber art. Okay, let me erase this bit then on the hat. Draw the edge so I don't forget. God, that is way too big. I need to set a preset. I keep forgetting I have presets. How do I hold this? Like that. Add the plus. Click. Plus. There we go. Okay, I'm figuring out technology. And also, to those of you who are new, I'm incredibly bad with technology and programs. I don't understand how anything works, right? I'd say I'm spiritually 87. I'm not. I'm fairly young, but I've been trapped in hell for a while, right? So I'm out of the loop on a lot of things, and technology is one of them. I say my excuse is I'm possessing Grim, right? So, you know, I'm drawing with cat paws, right? Not even human hands, so you gotta bear with me. That's my excuse. Okay, now we do the, like emblem or a badge or something. I'll figure out what kind of symbol I want to put on it. Put the rest of the hat here. It would end somewhere there, but that's going to be blocked by hair, so right here. Erase that, and we'll shade the rest of it, just so I know this will probably be like a black color of some kind. I don't know, I should always assume military outfits are black. Also, another thing, if anybody has any recommendations for other streamers, shows, people, things for me to draw and or check out, do let me know, right? I'm open to pretty much anything, especially because going forward I'm going to be doing a couple of streams where I'm redrawing people in the style of characters, so I'm a really big, like, fantasy, adventure, that sort of thing, big Fate fan, Bleach, Soul Eater. But if there's any shows you would want to see me investigate a little bit, then do let me know. I've been recommended, God, what was it? It was Campfire Cooking Another World with Amazing Skill, or something like that, an absurd skill, and I was also recommended that time I got reincarnated as a slime, so I'll check those two out. I haven't seen them personally. I'm not the most caught up to date, so I haven't seen everything on the planet, so it's always great to hear about new things I haven't heard of. Okay, we'll erase this hair. If we can, here, we'll get some more going like that. Just have the hair flowing up, I think, something like this. And like what, just like a small amount flicked upwards, maybe. We'll erase this. That makes sense? I think so. We'll erase that. The sketch is always going to be really, really rough. I have to tell my set over and over and over again, because I'm going to fixate too much otherwise. Leave this be rough, and then I can make sure that the whole rough draft is done before we start to fine-tune the details there and get into making the rest of it. Okay. Also, I'm just keeping on the eye on the time. I might go for another 20-30 minutes there, just a short stream today, unfortunately, because I have some stuff that needs to get done, but I'll see if I can stream earlier tomorrow, and for a little bit longer. I want to try and be more consistent, but today was just a short one. And the time is kind of all over the place. Sometimes it's midday, like 12 EST we start, sometimes it's closer to 6 or to 8 EST. I'm just trying different things there, so usually it's one of those two time slots that work, or where you can catch me. Am I adding too many strands? Yeah, maybe that is too many. And we have some up here that are flicking upwards. Okay, there we go. Erase that bit. More kind of hair on the side of the face, but whatever. Bangs. Push that out more and erase it. And the other kind of hair would be sticking up here, so that's folded over. Now hair is weird, because sometimes I'll like take tons and tons of time to do the scribbles over and over and over again. Other times I just kind of flick it and where it ends up is where it ends up. I think today is one of those days where we're just flicking it and seeing where it ends up. Right, there we go. I mean, especially with the wind and the updraft, like the dynamic posing really is making the shapes more extreme. So I feel like it's better just to kind of make it a little more slashy. Here, we'll raise this a little bit more. I feel like that was too low. There we go. Okay, the hair like this. And I'm kind of debating, I know usually when it's windy, the hair will go in both directions and curl and all that sort of thing. Like hers, their strands are kind of all over the place, but I do feel like with the wind, it would be more upwards. I can maybe add a little bit of curls, like some, maybe just a little wavy like that. No, let me redo that. Like a little bit of waviness. Here and there. I don't know why I spun that. That was completely unnecessary. I think we'll see. We'll try and add some waviness to the hair. Just a little bit. How would I do that? Stringy, we'll just make this stringy bits here. I can curl this, that's how I make it wavy. You know what, we'll curl it behind the hat. And I can do a lot more from this end here, because this is when a lot of the hair is going to be kind of sticking up and blowing that way. This, maybe. Sometimes I scribble things a day or two ago and then I completely forget what I had in mind when I come here. Like, I definitely know for certain past Sheshire was like, yeah, I know exactly what I want and this is where the hair is going to be and I don't need to tell a note or write down anything for my future self. And now I'm here and I'm incredibly confused. I feel like these scribbles here were probably the hair trajectory, I'm thinking. Right. Something like that. I feel like I made the left side way too sharp with blunt bangs and the right side is extremely wavy, so we'll try and even that out just a little bit. Okay. And then I'll have, you know what? Is this a little strand? Did I want that to be a strand of hair? I don't know if I did. You know what, why not? More the merrier. We're just gonna make her have longer hair on this then. Add a strand like that. And then I also need to remember this pose is going to be extremely dynamic because we're going to have the tentacles in the background too, like that little swirly looking stuff. Because a lot of like this back here, oh, I used the wrong thing. This back here is going to be filled with tentacles and that sort of a thing. So the hair really only goes about here, that line there, and the rest of it is not, so I need to remember that. Okay, you know what, sorry Mr. Void black hole thing, I'm going to separate you to another layer just so I remember what I wanted. And then I'm going to erase you, because you're getting in the way of the hair. I feel like this is one of those things where I appreciate people to make different layers, because normally it's only on one on two. Like, I only technically have two layers. I have this one, which is a way earlier sketch without that pose, and then I have the thing we're working on, and that's really about it. So I get to keep this layer. This is just going to be the little black hole layer. We'll call it spare black hole. You know, just a little spare black hole you can throw in the image later. I'll turn it off, so I can go back to drawing the hair without it getting in the way. Okay, and here's when we can kind of mess with some of the hair and the waviness too. Like you can have it fold towards the face a little bit. Like this little bit, I don't know why I said but, this little bit here is folded towards the face. That right here, erase that too. Just gonna get really flowy hair going. And remember that the ear is there, and the bangs. Erase that. I don't really think I ever finished what we were doing with the bangs. I have like probably a little spike here coming off of them maybe. Erase that tidbit. And then, after that we'll go back to this. Okay, so flipping the hair up. Wavy, I feel like, okay, it was too short before. If I had this, this makes a little bit more sense. Curl that hair up and then erase this bit here. Remember, this is all going to be hair. It's messy now, but we'll fix it later. That's the ears. And then that's all just hair here. Okay. That's done. Erase this. So I feel like we know the strand is connected to this one. I feel like I'm giving her a mix of both like blunt bangs and regular hair, and it's a little weird. It's disconcerting, but I don't think it looks necessarily bad, but you guys will have to be the judge of that. Because we have blunt flat cuts here, and then these ones are more spiky, so I don't know. Just erase this bit. Okay, maybe I bring this patch of hair up. That's what my issue is. I'll just erase this. I'll leave that one. Erase this here. Rebuild this little gap here. Little gap in the hair. Okay. Reconstructed that. And then should have some kind of a swirly piece here, right? I feel like maybe there should be something there. Or do I have it coming this way? You know what? This is another one of those occasions where I think we're going to whip out the second layer. So I have my hair, right? This stuff here. Got the hair going. We have our little sketcheroony. And then now I'm stuck. What else do I do? Do I flip the hair like that? And then add another one? I feel like that makes sense. Or do I do another upwards curl like this? But then I feel like I don't know how it connects here. So you know what, actually, I think we're gonna do the first one, right? Hair like this, flowing like that. Here connects. I think maybe this itself is the issue. Like, I have that bit of hair and it's not really connected to anything. It's kind of getting in the way. I think I should reshape this. And we'll kind of close this in. And we'll have this connected like that. Like so. Maybe. Oh. No, we're getting rid of this strand. This strand here is going to go bye-bye. Like, this one makes sense. And instead of that, we're going to have one big strand that comes like this, and that's going to just kind of tuck at everything. Maybe. Exactly, that one big strand goes underneath. This one's going to go over it like that. And we're not going to say anything, and no one's going to notice. And we're just going to pretend that it's not there, right? And I can make this one lower to make up for it. We'll make that one there. And there we go. This one curves under like this. Okay. Or do I have some hair in front like this? I think I can add a little bit of curly hair. Just a little bit of curly hair there. I'm hiding part of the hair, but I feel like this makes it so that the hair makes more sense. It blends in better. Now if I go down, I'm gonna have to erase this and figure out where the rest of these go. Okay. Erase that. We're gonna erase some of this. Sorry, hair. And we're gonna erase this fugly looking thing. Okay. Merge down. Now I'm kind of just spinning it to see if it makes sense. Maybe I just stretch this here. That's the solution. I stretch that there. I just kind of take out all this from the equation. I stretch the hair there so you can't see anything. I've solved it. It only took like 20 minutes of our lives that we're never going to get back, where you have to listen to me sound like an absolute fool. But there we go. I just have this piece go all the way up like that. And that solves all of our problems, because I feel like before it was too empty in here. I felt like there was nothing going on, but now we have, you know, that little strand. And we can still have this little one next to it. And then this can still go back like that. And the rest of it makes sense. Sort of. We'll make it scoop a little bit higher. Scoop like this, erase all that. It's kind of like directly part of the hair. It's getting in the way of the fingers, god damn it. Okay. Or do I make this go further? I have one strand that goes all the way in front of the ear. Yeah, sorry for those who came here for professional drawing stuff, because that is not what happens. I feel like once we get to the coloring, I'm more decisive, and even like clothing, jackets, that sort of thing. Outfits I can do quickly. But the posing and the hair is a whole other beast. Especially with this movement, like the wind and the updrafts, it's taken a lot for me to figure out what makes sense and what's also going to look good. Welcome back, Mr. Jinx. It's okay, you didn't miss much. It was just 600 years of me trying to draw the same piece of hair over and over and over again. I'll erase that. Now this back here. Erase this. Okay, then we have the ear. That's done. This is basically done. That's settled. Not touching it again. No more touching. Stop, Cheshire. Okay. Then I can erase this edge, and then the rest of it flows. I think it's flowing. Maybe? Maybe it's flowing. I'll erase that bit, redraw this. You know what, I might take a break from the hair in a minute if this isn't changing. It's like the hand, we only had to do it 37,000 times, and then eventually we decided on something. You know what, maybe that's it. You know what, look at that, I just scribbled a random thing and that ends up working. I think this fixes my dilemma. So I have hair coming down like here. Maybe like a little spiral. Like it's gonna be blocked by the void mostly anyways, but that's okay. Hair spiral, that flips like that. And that way this hair can be all flippy up here, this makes sense still, and it still flows properly. Now to fix the flowiness here. I'm gonna leave it alone because it was perfectly fine and I need to stop. Okay, let's move on to... What am I doing next? I could do the posing, the clothes, we can finally do some clothing. Or... just a tiny bit of shading so I can figure out where I'm gonna draw the next time. Add a little bit of gray here, just on the underneath parts. Right, like that. all gonna be grayed out. Okay. You know, I think I do have to go soon, so I think I might just call it here for today. You know, we got some progress on it. Better off when they started. I remember the black hole is still there, right? Still got spare black hole. Thank you to everybody who came by. It was a pleasure to get to make your acquaintance and have you all here. Hopefully we'll be back soon and we'll see each other maybe tomorrow, sometime early in the day. If not, definitely the day after tomorrow, but we'll try for tomorrow. And I'm gonna see if anyone's live. I might raid into somebody. If anybody's on Twitch, I think YouTube, unfortunately, is just gonna have to end that way. But let me see if anybody's live that I can raid into. But yeah, hopefully you all have a good rest of your day. Okay, come on Twitch, do your job. Also, I just realized AutoMod got rid of main coon. Oh, sorry about that. I didn't read your message earlier, but yeah, they're great. I feel like it decides to pick some random words for absolutely no reason, so let's do this. Okay, Stream Manager, let me see who's live and we'll raid into somebody. Who is live right now? Don't see much of anybody that I follow, at least right now. God damn it. You know what? I think we'll just end it here for then. Alrighty, thank you everybody for coming by. My name is Sheshire, the Devil's Not So Funny Jester, and I'll see you all later. Bye!